And I have your son or daughter for English 1 or Honors English 1. So I just wanted to take a moment to kind of introduce myself and let you know a little bit about how this school year is going to go given the circumstances that we're working with. So a little bit about me. I'm starting my 24th year here at Westerville North. I grew up in a very small town called Dalton, Ohio, which is kind of right between Worcester and Massillon, if you're familiar with that area. Very close to Amish country. I attended Otterbein, was college back in the days when I went, now university. And played basketball there. So that was a great time. And then I actually ended up doing my student teaching here at Westerville North and have been here ever since. I'm an avid sports fan. I love watching my students, my own kids play sports. And maybe unfortunately, maybe fortunately, depending on the season and the sport, I am a Cleveland sports fan. So what else here? I'm married. My husband is in this top picture here. His name is Silas. And then my boys, the bit taller one is Jackson, and he'll be in sixth grade. And then Lucas, who we call Duke, will be in fourth grade. And they go to Big Walnut schools. And then the picture on the right there is my yellow lab puppy that we got since quarantine. He's 4 months old, and his name is Huck. So that's a little bit about me. I'm sure you guys will all learn a lot about me as we continue learning throughout this year. So the daily routine, which I think is where everyone is struggling because we all want to make sure we're getting everything done. And each teacher's probably going to be doing a lot of different things. So there's definitely going to be an adjustment period with this school year, and that's okay. All right. If you've missed something, just email. We'll make it work. For those of you who have Mr. Denny for American history class, he and I work very closely together, and a lot of our stuff, especially the way we've set up Schoology, is very similar. So that should help you in getting into a routine. So each day we're hoping that you get up early and kind of follow through your day just like you would if you were here at school. Getting an early start and working during school hours, which is 7:25 to approximately 2, we're here to help you during those hours. So if you have any questions, you can't access something, and you shoot us an email, we're going to be able to get back with you right away because we're here at school working. So each day you're going to start by getting on to Schoology. And for my class, as well as Mr. Denny's, you will open your daily agenda to check what's expected of you. There's always going to be a warm-up activity. The purpose of that is not to scare you or give you a quiz every day. It's more about just checking in to make sure you are logging on, you worked through the lesson the day before. So they're kind of like entry tickets each day. And then you'll watch the video of the lesson or participate in a live lesson, whichever the case may be. And then you will complete any assignments posted and submit those whenever they are due. Please, please, please do whatever it takes not to fall behind. I feel like when you fall behind, that's when things really start to go downhill. So don't start the year by getting behind. You don't want to be in that position. As always, parents, students, please make sure you reach out whenever you have a question. You are not bugging me. I encourage you to email me regularly. It's going to be hard this year to build relationships with each of you, but I'm bound and determined to make it happen. And I think one way I can make that happen is just by communicating with each of you as regularly as I can. Take advantage of my office hours, which we're going to let you know what those are going to be once as a team we kind of figure out when our students are working. So we will have live like Google Meet or conferences in Schoology. I would encourage you just to pop into those anytime your teachers are having those. That way, you know, that's going to help them get to know you, and that's only going to help you in the long run. Next, the standards. I have this in my introductory video posted on Schoology that the students will access tomorrow, but I did want to make parents aware of what your child should be learning this year. The English standards are a little bit different than the other subject matters in the sense that they've been working on these same types of skills since they were in elementary school. It's just with each passing year, we get a little more specific in the standards that we're covering. So the first two areas of our standards are reading literature, which is more about reading fictional pieces, and then we have the reading informational text or those true pieces. And so we're looking at kind of in four main areas: key ideas and details. Can they use textual evidence to support the answers to their questions? Can they pick out a theme or a central idea from what they read? And then not only do that, but explain how that theme or central idea developed over the course of a text. And can they analyze complex characters, talk about how they changed, what they did to show that they have changed? And then we move into craft and structure, where we really look at how an author sets up their text, organizes their story, and what effect that has on the overall plot. And then we go to integration of knowledge and ideas, and that's where we're going to work on analyzing maybe the same type of topic through two different mediums. That might be a story and a speech, or a piece of artwork and a poem. So that can be a lot of different things. And then finally, in those two categories, we look at the range of reading and the level of text complexity. To do that, we're going to read different stories with differing degrees of difficulty, dramas, poems. And then we'll also work with Mr. Denny for your history class to look at different U.S. documents and whether or not you have the ability to read those and understand those. And they are hard to understand because those tend to be written with a different vocabulary sometimes than we're used to reading now. And so I'll kind of teach you some reading strategies of how to make it through texts like that and fully understand them. Moving on to our writing standards, you'll do argumentative writing, informative writing, narrative writing. So we'll do all those, and then we'll also work on the production and distribution of your writing. We'll work on some research skills and how to organize all of your writing depending on which kind you're doing. And then the range of writing, we'll do bigger essays, more formal pieces, but we'll also be doing little daily journal type of writing, which can be just as helpful as the longer pieces. Finally, we get into our speaking and listening standards and our language standards. Speaking and listening are probably the hardest to evaluate as a teacher. You can kind of read through those bullet points and see what we're looking for. Those are all basically just done with rubrics that I'll use when your students do any kind of presentation, whether that's a speech on their own or working with a group and presenting information to peers. And then our language standards, that's where we cover conventions. Specifically at the 9th grade level, we're looking for parallel structure, the use of phrases and clauses, and then the specific pieces of punctuation that we're looking for, your understanding of are the semicolon and the colon. Knowledge of language, do you follow the guidelines for various types of writing? So basically, whenever I give you an assignment, you need to make sure you're writing to the task. So whatever I've assigned, that you're following the guidelines for that specific assignment and type of writing. And then vocabulary acquisition, can you figure out what a word means based on context clues? Can you determine different patterns, the different patterns of word changes, what it is in a present tense, and then what it becomes once it goes to past tense? The pronunciation of words, the use of figurative language, and as well as the use of general academic and domain-specific words and phrases. So luckily, I think with vocabulary and the ease of having computer programs and Google right there at our fingertips, that's become a lot easier than it was back in my day when we literally had to carry a dictionary around. So there's a benefit. All right, getting into what you or parents, what your student will see when they log into Schoology. So starting tomorrow morning, your student should log into Schoology, and hopefully I can get this link to work so that I can show you what they will see. So this is just an example of some of my classes. So tomorrow when you guys log in, the first thing you're going to do is watch this introductory video. A couple of things you'll notice are repeats, like the standards, going over those and things like that. But each day then, when you log in, you will click on the daily agenda. And with the daily agenda, you're going to see what you need to accomplish each day. Okay. So I'm one of those people who loves to write down a task list and then scratch it off or put a check beside it when I've completed it. So for tomorrow, for example, you're going to watch the instructional video, you're going to complete the warm-up activity, and then you're going to begin working on your virtual bulletin board. Those are your 3 tasks for the day. All right. So then I'm going to go back here. Here are my warm-ups. This whole folder is going to house each of the warm-ups, and you'll see the one for tomorrow is there. I haven't published it yet, so you can't access it, students, until tomorrow, but that's what it'll be. And then this is your first assignment. Well, there it is. Let me go back. Your first assignment then is going to be this All About Me bulletin board. And this is just a little getting to know you activity. So when you click on this, you will see kind of some suggestions for what you can put on your digital bulletin board. So there are the instructions. You can put any or all those things on there. You can then on the second slide of this, you will create your own here. And in the bottom where it says click to add notes, you're going to kind of type a paragraph explaining why you put what you put on your board. And you will see that in my example here, which is all about me. And then I wrote up this paragraph at the bottom that kind of explains a little bit about me. All right, so that's the work that you will do starting tomorrow morning. All right, let me go back here to my slide. So then my goals. I want to make sure you understand kind of what my mindset is in going into this school year, since this school year is a little bit different. First off, as is the case any year, I want to be a trusted adult or advisor for each of my students, which means I'm going to actively work to develop meaningful relationships with all of you. And I think it's going to be harder this year because of the way we're starting the year, but I think if we all work together on it, it can still happen. Another one of my goals is to guide students to develop an appreciation for literature of all kinds. I know that it's a stretch to say I'm going to make sure my goal is to have every student love to read by the time they leave my class. That would be wonderful. But I think developing an appreciation for different pieces is maybe just a better way to state that. I want to make sure I'm meeting students where they are academically, emotionally, and helping them become better at reading, at writing, and working with each of the standards that I'm going to be covering. I want to set my students up for success by pushing them to do their best, even when struggles involved. So just because something is hard doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. That's actually, in my mind, a good thing, because if it is hard, then perhaps that means you're learning something new. And shouldn't we be doing that all of the time, especially when we're in school? So I like to refer to it as productive struggle. Can you work through it, or are you going to throw in the towel and quit? If you don't understand something you read, are you going to go to the extra length to figure out what it means by rereading it, by looking up something on the internet, by asking your teacher about it? So always remember that to struggle through something is okay. It's not a bad thing. I always want to create a safe environment for all types of students. I want everyone who walks into my room or who's a part of my class in whatever way, I want them to feel that it's okay to be who they are and that they are accepted in my room. I want to be open-minded to all kinds of opinions, even ones that may be very different from my own. And I want to teach my students to do the same, to not necessarily have to share the same opinion as someone else, but to listen to that person's opinion and then feel free to give their own as well. I want to be available to students when they need my help. I'm here 7:25 to 3 o'clock every day, ready to answer emails, field phone calls, whatever the case may be, conference with you. And I also want to be available to parents when you guys have questions. This is a big year. To send a kid from 8th grade, middle school, and into a whole new building with older kids, I know that can be hard. So it is a jump, it's a transition, and we are here to help. Finally, I just want to be positive. I think we've heard so much negativity recently. I don't think starting digitally or virtually, the way we're starting with distance learning, I don't think that's really anybody's ideal, right? Most teachers, we want to be here. We want to be with our students, but we're not. And I just want to stay positive and try to do the best that I can do in hopes that that positivity is reflected and returned from the students. So I'm ready to have a great school year. I hope you guys are too. If you have any questions, please reach out. And I will touch base with you tomorrow as I see when you guys get on Schoology and start working on the things that you're supposed to be working with there. All right. I hope you have a great day and are ready to start as a warrior tomorrow morning. I'll talk to you later.